What is up, everyone? Mars here, bringing you guys a news in a flash. Let's get right into it. We start this episode off with probably one of the dumbest stories I've heard in a while that involves Minecraft, specifically a server called Velt PvP, who was targeted by one of their rivals who sent out a reported 24,000 threatening emails that were forged to look like they actually came from the server in an attempt to get the server shut down. Now, these weren't just any threatening emails. No, they were bomb threats that were sent out to schools around the UK. You have got to be in another universe of stupidity in order to sit down and say, yeah, this is a good idea. And then to actually go through with it. 400 schools were affected by this, with several of them even having to be evacuated because of this threat. And then to have the nerve to say that this happened because the server was DDoSing other servers, like that somehow justifies this whole thing. It just completely blows my mind that some people can do this kind of shit over a game that primarily involves building blocks and survival. It's like, are you kidding me? More details can be found on that below. Panic at the Disco has announced they are releasing their new album, Pray for the Wicked, on June 22nd, and along with this announcement of the new album, we also got not one, but two new singles from it. The first one being Say Amen, Saturday Night, in the form of a music video, and let me tell you right now, it is definitely worth the watch. Not only is the song catchy as hell, but the video has like this really odd mix of brutalness that you might see in like something like John Wick, with the satirical humor of Panic at the Disco. There was one part in particular that I thought was absolutely hilarious, and the way that they synced it up with the music was actually pretty clever as well. The second single being Fuck a Silver Lining, which I also enjoyed. It wasn't as catchy as the first one, but I still enjoyed it. And finally, they also announced a new US tour that kicks off in mid-July and runs all the way into mid-August. Check out the dates along with the album details and the new songs, all down below for you. Moving on, the Faceless are back in the news again from our last video, which if you guys haven't seen yet, I'll leave a link down below for you to check out. But basically, all the members of the band, other than Micheal, Keene, actually left the group. And ooh, how things have gotten nasty since the last time we talked about them. Shortly after his first statement, Micheal Keene decided that the best idea would be to put out another statement where he claims that our jaws would hit the floor at the level of betrayal and disrespect he's received over the past couple of months, and how it's a miracle that he's still standing. He then goes on to say that the Faceless shows are going to be of the likes of something we've never seen before. Which, you know, to be fair, I never have seen a Faceless show before because they keep getting cancelled. Anyways, he says that the confirmed players that he's currently working with are absolute animals and are an honor to be working with, but at the same time, he doesn't name any of those new members. Now, where things get interesting is Justin McKinney, the former guitarist, actually shot back with his own statement that reads, "Here you go again, shifting blame away from yourself and towards the last 18 people who quit the band. Stealing money from the band, stealing money from fans, telling fans the reason why you can't play your guitar is because of me being nervous, not because of your heroin addiction and the fact that you never practice. Backtracking your solo and spiraling, getting the band's equipment sold from your storage unit from non-payment, and using the money Faceless manager EJ Shannon sent you to pay for the unit was used to buy heroin, getting so high that you can't even make flights on time. Yeah, we sure betrayed you, dude. Get your fucking life together and take responsibility for your shitty actions." Ouch, that was low. Anyways, if you guys are interested in checking out either one of these statements, I'll leave the link for Metal Injection down below. You guys can check it out there. Moving on, we got a new trailer for Deadpool 2 that shows off what seems to be the origins of the X-Force, which I know very little about, other than, you know, I think Cable is the leader of it. But either way, I am liking what I am seeing so far, and I can't wait to check it out in theaters. Check out the trailer down below if you guys are interested. Alright, so for this next story, I am going to be doing something that I don't usually do. Most of the time, I like to stick primarily with the news and keep it at that. That's what I do best, or at least I try to. Less about feelings, more about the facts. But there are certain times when I have to raise my voice and say, what the actual fuck? And after watching this continue to happen for the last 5 months, I have to say something and I have to call some names out. So to you, alternative press, what the actual fuck are you doing glamorizing the shit out of Charles Manson? In their latest article about him, I say the latest because they put out a number of articles, I think it's 7 to be exact, since his death 5 months ago. Anyways, in their latest article, they say how his service had a hippie vibe to it, with people singing songs by the Beach Boys, Guns N' Roses, and even Manson himself, and how his grandson plans to spread his ashes free in the air somewhere. Oh, how majestic. No, fuck that. The only place that Manson's ashes deserve to be is flushed down a toilet so that he can finally be one with his true nature, floating along with the rest of the human crap and filth. How about that for a hippie vibe? And for those of you who don't know who Charles Manson is, allow me to not be alternative press and actually say who this festering piece of crimey crap of a man actually is. Charles Manson was known as, he was the leader of a cult known as Manson family that formed in the late 60s in California and gained notoriety after being connected to 7 murders between July and August of 1969, all orchestrated by Manson himself. And this included actress Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant at the time. Also, I do want to point out, alternative press only seems to think Sharon Tate is important when Margot Robbie is being announced to play her in a movie. They didn't think she was important enough to use her full name in the article, or the fact that she was 8 months pregnant at the time of her murder, or the fact that she was stabbed 16 fucking times, or the fact that she begged them to let her live so that she could give birth to her son. That baby was kicking inside of her. It was ready to come out. Like, her due date was set for 2 weeks after she was murdered. 2 weeks. Yeah, I wonder how her memorial was. I wonder if anybody was singing and dancing there. I wonder if her son ever got to be free with the air, seeing as his chances of living were literally ripped away from him, with a knife ripping through his mother 16 times as she begged them to let her live so that she could give birth to him. But no, you can't even include her full name in your article. Wow. Absolutely pathetic. You know, journalistic integrity and morality is swirling down the toilet with these guys, and they're right alongside Manson's ashes. It's completely shameful. This entire article is complete garbage. And you know what? I'll say this. As long as alternative press is posting good news, I mean, good music news, which, let's be honest, that's pretty rare as of these days, I don't mind them constantly spamming their pup punk shirts, or how they completely overhaul their entire format in a matter of a couple of years just to fit in with the left, and now how they're constantly spamming their equality t-shirts or some new makeup line to try and bank off a movement people are deeply passionate about. It's annoying, but I can deal with it. But this shit, this over-glamorization of scum like Manson that paints him as this cultural icon, it needs to end. This dude is not a celebrity. He is a murderer. The best thing he ever did in his life was dying. And if this was the only article that alternative press had published about him, I can forgive it. I can let it go. But just doing a Google search, on all the articles that they have posted about him since his death back in November, there have been 7 articles ranging from the time of his death to an article that came out in January, to another article that crept up earlier this month, and finally to this crap that came out just this week. I do not care what the people were singing at his funeral. I do not care if his grandson thinks his plague of ashes needs to be free with the air. I do not give a fuck. Fuck them. What I do care about is that the fact that you guys are running a channel that has a wide variety of young teens and adults viewing it and are glamorizing a black smear on our history. It's pathetic. It's pathetic that you can't even include Sharon Tate's full name in your article. Alright guys, the rant's over at this point. If you guys want more details, I'll leave the article down below. I'll also leave Washington Post article. They did a much better article on Sharon Tate than alternative press did. What alternative press did is just completely disrespectful. But you can check out both of those down below if you guys are interested. Thank you all for joining me for this episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you didn't. Subscribe if you want more. Share because it always helps and I greatly appreciate it. And of course, I will see you all on the next one. Mars out. Yeah, sorry I got a little mad there, guys.